Hey, girlfriend, you know who you are. You have big, big dreams. You want to write a book, stand on a TED Talk stage, be a life coach offering wisdom from your RV in Montana, a cafe in Barcelona, or a beach chair in Tulum. Your other girlfriends and your family, they don't always get your biz savvy. Why do you want to leave your JOB? Because you're a C.A.T.S, aka coach, author, thought leader, and speaker. Meet other change makers like yourself and find out how they make it happen. This is the Big Meow podcast.
Welcome to the Big Meow podcast brought to you by C.A.T.S Network. I am your host, Angela Howard, and today I am with Tamara Wolfe, who is a results-oriented, I love this about her, life coach, neuro coach, mindset and results expert, speaker, teacher, and author. Welcome, Tamara, and thank you so much for being on the show. We can't wait to hear more.
It's an honor and a pleasure to be here.
So tell me, I'm curious, what is a neuro coach?
So a neuro coach really takes a look at how the brain works and studies that. And what's a beautiful combination is when you understand how the brain works as a mindset coach, what I then can do and take it to the next level is really help you recognize how to use your mind to direct your brain. When you understand how the brain works, especially as an entrepreneur or a leader or in business, when you understand how it works, then you can work more efficiently to get to where you want to go by really, looking at the strengths of how that brain can serve you in getting to that next level of where you're going. It's powerful, powerful medium to understand.
Better to lead your brain than to let just thoughts lead you.
Exactly. I say we're the director of our ship. We absolutely have more power than we realize to direct where we're going, both in personal and in professional life.
So do you use regular coaching? Are you bringing in some of your, it looks like neuro-linguistic programming? What's your package like? Like, what do you include?
Yeah, absolutely. So my primary is really the mindset piece, which has the neuroscience embedded within it, along with positive psychology, spiritual success principles, but it's a proven reliable system of going from the vision, getting clarity on where it is that you want to go in business or personal life, and then how to navigate that gap to get to the results that you want more quickly, and understanding that whole idea of repatterning those limiting beliefs, those stumbling blocks that get in your way, get you beyond stuck. And so the neuroscience is right in there as well, because what happens is we're trying to navigate that gap. The brain is set off and the alarms, I call it the alarms are going off. Wait a minute, she's stepping out here. She's stepping out of their comfort zone. What is this? And so when we understand that that's a brain function, and then how to use the mindset piece to repattern to those better belief systems that will support you, it's powerful.
So share with us, I call it the carrot, meaning like give us at the results. If you're results oriented, give us some results of some of your past clients, share with us some success. But for me, it helps to know if this is going to be tough work, I want to know what's on the other side. So share with us that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do call it a rigorous path. You're just rewiring, but it's well worth it because you're going to the higher level of yourself. And so I had a client that came to me right when COVID was starting, and she had a small business, and we started, and then COVID, everything shut down, and her alarm system was going off. How am I going to expand and continue my business? Because I'm more of an in-person, I've been doing it all in person. And it was during our time together that she was able to navigate and really step into her higher mind of how do we navigate this change. And the results that she got was she actually increased her business by 20% during our time together, and actually by the end was hiring an assistant. And so she was so grateful for that result. I had another client who had a CPA business, wanted to keep going with that. This also happened right on the edge of COVID. And at the same time, he kept having these health issues. And every time he was in the hospital, he'd say, gosh, you know what? I know life is short. I want to write a book series. And so when he found me, he literally said, "You're the one that's going to help me." And during that time, in a rigorous schedule for him, not knowing how am I going to do this in the midst of doing all that I'm doing, he was able to write his first book. His wife wasn't too sure about it, but when he wrote it and got it done, she was so happy, and he was certainly overjoyed, and he's on his way to write a whole series. So those are a couple of examples of some of the results.
That's fantastic. And those are some big results. You said something about change. Change is inevitable. We know whether we want it or not. So what's a wisdom nugget you could give somebody who's going through change? You know, you also talk about navigating the gap between something's up, got to change, or change is happening, and then the other side. Help us bridge that gap.
I love that. We say change is constant when we, again, understand that that's part of the process, and what I call it being the good news. We're here to continue growing. We're either growing or dying.
Yeah.
So if you're not changing, if you're not challenging the next level, you're staying stagnant, or we can get pulled back again. And so when we recognize that we have the ability to navigate through the change, and I call it, I work with people who are going through a transition, maybe from a job that they didn't love to what a next one might be. And so at the beginning, we're getting clarity on where they want to go, but I call it being messy in the middle. When we understand that it's messy in the middle, but it's all in the service of where you're going, it helps to calm your system down, so you can recognize change is part of this, and I can handle it. And I'll share one nugget that I love to share with my clients is that every situation, every condition that we're dealing with, change included, that's part of our everyday, we get to neutralize it. It only becomes something that's overpowering or emotional when we put an emotion on it. But when we can neutralize, this is what it is, and pause, and then go to that higher place of, I get to problem solve here, and I get to use my higher mind, not my panic mind. This is where the brain science comes in. Go to the CEO of your mind to figure out what is that step to navigate. It helps you build that confidence to know that I can make it through change, and change is good. I'm on my way. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, it makes sense. And those things you can control. Your own mind, you can, even though we don't think so. But sometimes in change, there are other people involved. And that's a tough, tell me how to navigate, you can talk to your CEO in your brain, but how do you talk to the CEO outside of you, or a client or a partner or a customer, whatever? You're in the middle of that. Give me the nugget to help navigate that moment.
Yeah, I help my clients know that you can create mini visions for any situation. You can create a mini vision of a conversation you're going to have with a child, with a colleague, that again, you can take charge there and know that what would you love the outcome before you get on that phone call, before you have that conversation? What would I love that outcome to be? And then this is a beautiful nugget of who am I going to be in that conversation that will support the outcome that I would love? I can't change anybody that I'm speaking with, but I can navigate my own being of who I'm going to be in that situation, and have a vision for what it is that I would love that outcome to be. And so when you come from that energy, we know that energy is contagious. It's the other person's going to pick up the energy that you're bringing, whether you're at that higher place of staying at that higher level, or you're, I say at the lower level where you might be in a contractive kind of negative kind of way. We again have that ability. We can't change them, but we can change the energy and who am I going to be as I go into this conversation.
Truly, and that negative energy most of the time is fear. And if you probably help people navigate, well, what's the fear going into this? What's the worst case scenario? I envision while you talk, and I thought, what would I do? I'd probably have to put a note up of how I would like for this to end up, like the end goal, if everything went perfect, right?
Yes.
Because I would have to have a reminder. I don't know about any other cats out there.
Absolutely.
But the emotions in the moment are tough. And so how would you advise dealing with, you have it all mapped out, this is what's good, perfect case scenario, and bam, here comes that fear. What do you do then?
I love it. Yeah, no, absolutely. This is one of the key things that I work with people on, because we're human and it does. And that's part of it. So I actually say fear is a good thing. It's good news. That means you're changing and you're growing. But in the moment when you're dealing, I know where you're coming from. So we have an internal pause button. And I have my clients always imagine there's a pause button. You feel the fear. When you identify that's happening, you push that imaginary pause button. No one else needs to know that. Also, once you push that pause button, I call it safety breathing. And again, no one needs to see that necessarily going on, but you breathe in through your nose on 4, slowly exhale. So you can do it really subtly. What that's doing, it's calming your nervous system, going from fight, flight to the parasympathetic, the calming. So when you calm that down, then you say, you actually are internally talking to that fear. You know what? I feel you. I know you're coming up, but right now this is not serving me. I'm going to set you over here. And this is all happening once you practice it. It's happening very quickly. And I'm going to come back to, like your note might say, you can have that. We do a lot of things on Zoom, so you can have that note there. This is what I would love. Redirect your focus back to what is the outcome that I want here. And then lean in and take a step that's going to serve you in that direction. So pause, take that deep breath, set that fear aside, focus on what it is that I want, and then take an action step. As you practice that, again, this is a practicing thing, you're starting to rewire that, when this comes up again, I've got a tool here that's going to keep me focused.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, because we at C.A.T.S, we're all collaborators and we love hearing from each other nuggets of wisdom, but little tricks of the trade and, how we can all be better. So really, really appreciate you sharing that. So what's the big picture for you? What's next for you?
I am working to up level, certainly bring greater impact in my coaching and speaking world. And one of those includes eventually writing a book that really has tools for helping people really recognize and understand that they can design their lives as opposed to living by default. And what are some concrete tools of how you do that you can be the director of your ship, I call it, really. And also I'm looking to do a TED talk again, that bringing more impact out there and continue spreading the word internationally. So that's kind of core to in focus on business, on taking this to the next level.
Yeah, big dreams. We love big dreams, and we at C.A.T support you there. How do we find you?
So my website is Think at a Higher Level, really just simply.com. That's one place you can hear more about me. And it also is a place for people who might want a complimentary session. The other place is on Facebook, Tamara Wolfe, tamara.wolfe.10.
And that's Wolf with an E at the end, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's Tamara with all A's.
Because you're an A #1 player, Tamara.
There you go.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and spending it with us and sharing with us and up-leveling us with your wisdom. We wish you all the best and the luck in your international talking and sharing. Thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, and best of luck to all that are listening.
I know.
Thanks for listening to the Big Meow podcast, sponsored by C.A.T.S Network. If you liked what you heard, please take a moment to subscribe and share this podcast with your friends. You can also join our network filled with positivity and possibility. Visit www.catsnetworking.com to join us and learn more, together with your magical, motivated, and mystical new friends at C.A.T.S Network. Let's transform 1 million lives with your message. Are you feeling isolated sitting at home in your PJs? Or perhaps you're tired of the comfy sweatpants with holes in them that are hidden just below the camera? I mean, you could puke at the thought of another day of Zoom meetings and reporting to your BOSS. Do you want freedom from your home office desk or the office cubicle? Do you want freedom from your current career? Or are you frustrated that your online biz dreams are going nowhere? It's all too overwhelming. Where do you start? All the tech, the choices, and your message. Yep, I said your message, your brand, your voice. What is it? Do you even know what that means? Do you need a biz coach but don't want to invest the big bucks? Let's face it, being a solopreneur is lonely, but you don't have to do it alone. And here's a solution. Join C.A.T.S Network. C.A.T.S Network is a woman-only membership community exclusively available to you, the life coach or executive coach, the author, the thought leader, or the public speaker. If you identify with this list or want to work on adding some of these to your skill set, C.A.T.S is the place for you. Check us out at www.catsnetworking.com. That's C.A.T.S networking.com. Because let's face it, cats are better together.